Hello everyone, this is Griffin Station back here, and this is my first video on my weekly Shonen Roundup series, which is every week I'll be reviewing weekly Shonen Jump series chapters that are released, and I am starting off with the Promised Neverland. Some weeks I might only do one chapter of a series, other weeks I might do multiple chapters of different series. And so this week I'm definitely doing Promised Neverland. I just also read Boruto, and that chapter was actually really interesting, so I might actually do a video on that later, but we'll see how that pans out. So as far as the Promised Neverland, we start off with Chislo, Barbara, and Vincent introducing themselves to Emma and Ray. When Emma and Ray came into this room, they were expecting to see Norman and to inform them of what they had just been talking about in the previous chapter, basically talking about saving both humans and demons. Obviously, Emma is somebody that is super empathetic, and so looking at it out of her eyes, I can definitely understand where she is coming from. Now, this chapter is really intriguing considering the dynamic viewpoints between that of Chislo and Barbara compared to Emma. When we first get to see them interact with Emma and Ray, they give them some questionable faces. Barbara and Chislo just don't quite know how to take the concept of Emma and Ray in, especially since they're people that have known Norman before Norman became Minerva. Despite this though, Ray is able to come out on the situation on top. He is able to analyze the situation like always. He is so perceptive, he is so smart, and is able to basically get the upper hand on Barbara and Chislo, as he is able to essentially just give them what they want, give them the praise they want to hear. But it sort of backfires when they all focus on Emma, especially Barbara. Barbara and Emma have this very intriguing dynamic that I'm sure we're going to see playing out in the following arc, but they just have this strange dichotomy that really, I feel, could really be played well, depending on how often they are going to interact in future chapters. Barbara and Chislo are obviously so infatuated with Norman, and it's, I would say, a little bit surprising. They treat him essentially as a god or an emperor. They even label him as such, but I would say it's sort of surprising. I don't know how intelligent they are. I know they're probably pretty crazy, pretty out there because of their time at Lambda, whereas Vincent, while sort of in a similar situation, he is taking a back seat from everything. He's just analyzing everything. He's very intelligent, as explained by Chislo, and also just easily observed from reading the chapter. Regardless, their obsession with Norman, I feel, as a reader from the beginning of the series, could be taken as a bit of a strange take, considering Norman is, you know, he's Norman. But a lot of Norman's development now has been done off-screen, and the fact that Norman has been able to grow to such stature in just a few years, it really is remarkable to see, just to see him grow into this leader that he's become. He's obviously taken on a persona to present himself to not only the children that he rescues, but also all of these people that are just directly right under him. Whereas when he immediately sees Emma and Ray and the rest of the Gracefield children, he's able to let go of that persona and just be himself. This really shows that Norman is still truly him at his core, but he knows what he has to do to survive in this world, and he also knows what he has to do to make sure that humanity comes out on top after he meets his goals. At the beginning of this series, we heard from Norman, and he said that when he sets out to do something, he does it. And this is just showcasing that whatever he sets his mind to, whether it just be to win a game of tag or it to be saving humanity, he's going to do it, and he's going to do what it takes to get him that goal. One really intriguing aspect that this chapter brings up is the concept of powers. Now, we already got a little bit of a taste with this, especially with the character Zazie, which is currently with Norman, and it really does seem like these people, such as Barbara and Chislo and even Vincent, are enhanced in some form or fashion. We don't exactly know the exact extent of these powers, but the fact that these are being brought up now, I feel will have a pretty heavy role in the coming arc. I also feel like these people with powers will be an adversary to our current human protagonists. I feel as though not only will the humans have to face a threat from the demons, but they're also going to have to face a threat from these powered individuals. These powered individuals are also seemingly stronger than a lot of the demons and can take care of them with ease. And so with that in mind, considering we already have had an arc where the children have had to directly take on intellectual demons, I think we're going to be moving into an arc where there's going to be conflict, and the children, namely Emma and Ray, are going to have to take on powered individuals such as Barbara and Chislo. Now, I'm not saying that we are going to specifically be facing those children, but I think there will be some sort of conflict down the line where Emma and Ray will have to figure out a way to survive an encounter with some powered individuals. Because, as I've said before in this video, they don't seem that alright in the head. They seem pretty crazy. Vincent may be the same way. Of course, he is super intelligent, and so he could probably hide that side of him. We do get to see some of the Lambda children's past in terms of what they had to experience growing up. We didn't get too much details on their childhood horrific past, but we do get to see some instances of, you know, demons eating the children, and it is pretty gruesome. Now, obviously, these children did not live nearly as great of lives as the kids at the Gracefield house, and so this is also probably why characters such as Barbara and Chislo have sort of, I want to say, a weird admiration as well as a disgust towards these characters such as Emma and Ray. Now, I've talked about the clashing morality between Emma and Barbara earlier in this video, but I do really want to bring up the fact that Barbara has a special vendetta against the demons. She feels personally attacked. In terms of humanity itself, she feels as though that she has to take revenge for humanity by eating them as they have been being eaten by the demons. Emma is not an eye for an eye type of person, and she is really empathetic and really wants to help the demons and humans coexist, but Barbara does not see that. And I feel that this could lead to something really big in terms of a conflict. Now, I don't think will be an overarching conflict, but I do think that they will have conflicting notions, and it could lead to a fight that Emma would definitely not be ready for. It would also cause a divide between Emma and Norman, because Norman right now is on the side of we're eliminating the demons so humans can live. And so once Norman comes back from his trip, which I will mention in a second, it will really be interesting to see where Emma and Norman's relationship develops, especially since Emma, while she has been spending time with Norman in the last day, hasn't been there for the last couple of years. And so, for all we know, Norman could be just on the notion that the demons have to be eliminated and there's nothing else we can do about it. There's no middle ground of saving the demons and also saving humanity. Now, Vincent, in this entire scenario, when he brings up the fact that Norman has gone and left to carry out his plan, he doesn't really play out his hand whether he feels as though Norman's doing the right thing, whether he agrees with Emma or whether he agrees with Barbara. He's just laying out the facts, and I feel trying to gauge a reaction out of characters such as Emma and especially Ray. Ray is probably a character that he is very interested in, as Ray is also one that is very methodical, very intellectual, and will keep his hands close to his chest and try to manipulate the others in the conversation. Now, the big revelation at the end of the chapter is that Norman has already left, and he's already putting his plan in motion. So Emma's hopes to save the demons and save humanity and have them coexist probably is now going to be out of the window. We aren't going to be able to strike a plan unless if somehow Emma is able to convince Norman and then after have Norman switch up his plan in the middle of it, or if they want to pull something really intellectual with Norman, have him already have the thought of having demons and humans coexist and try to get that pushed forward while he's disguising his plan as a total annihilation of the demons. I think it would actually be in line with Norman's character, as he would always want to do what's in Emma's best interest, and in this scenario, I feel he would probably feel that Emma would be the empathetic type of person to want to save everyone, as she did when they were leaving the farm, and in this scenario, wants to save everyone because these are actual living beings, and if there's a way to have everyone coexist, I'm sure that he would try to figure out a way for that to happen. Now, as far as these videos go, I'm not going to be giving a rating on the chapter. I'm just going to give my general thoughts. I thought this was an extremely good chapter. I mean, I think most of the Promised Neverland chapters are extremely well written, and the art is really well done. So there's no real complaints there. But please let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of the chapter and where you think the story is going to go from here. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.